Journeyman Chronicles.
Yeah! Welcome back, and yes, welcome back, all of you, every single one of you. I've missed you. How was your week? How's your day so far? Are you just starting it? Are you starting to wind down? Are you going to go work out? Are you going to go hang out with some friends? What's your life like? What are you up to? Whatever you're doing, you got the Journeyman Chronicles keeping you busy. I like that. My name is the Journeyman. I am Felix Arroyo, and I'm bringing you yet another episode of this wonderful brand new podcast. You have to excuse me, guys. I am coming down with a damn cold. I'm struggling. I am on the struggle bus. I am driving it, and I am every single passenger on that bus. But you know what? I am going to persevere. I'm going to push through this shit. Because that's what the fuck I do. So my wife gave me some medicine. I drank some tea. I took some, the fuck did I have? I ate some chicken noodle soup. I'm ready to roll. I got some Halls. I am not letting this slow me down. And neither should you. Damn it, if you're sick, I suggest you listen to the Journeyman Chronicles. End of conversation. I'm not really interested in what your doctor has to say about it. Listen, before we get started with today's episode, I would like to take some time to talk about something important. It's important to me. I hope you've been enjoying this podcast as much as I've been enjoying creating every episode, interviewing the people that I'm talking to, sharing with you their journey and also mine. Now, this just isn't a passion project. To me, this is something I want to devote all of my time, all of my energy to, and I need your help. So, this is where you come in. This is not mandatory. This is strictly voluntary. But if you would like to donate any money to the Journeyman Chronicles, you can do so. Any money that I get for this podcast goes directly to this podcast. I have a lot of equipment that I want to invest in. I have equipment that I would like to upgrade. This all takes money, and I'm doing as much as I can, but I could use your help. If you are interested in supporting the Journeyman Chronicles and you would like to make a contribution, at the bottom of every single description for every episode, there's a link that says support this podcast. You click on that link and it's going to take you to a page that says become a supporter, and you have a monthly contribution option of $1, $5, or $10. Now, please be aware that this is a monthly contribution. It can be canceled at any time. This is not mandatory. You are still going to be able to listen to the Journeyman Chronicles if you don't contribute, but I am asking. And in the epic words of TLC, I ain't too proud to beg. And as much as I hate it, I know that I got to do what I got to do to make this happen. In order to make this podcast bigger and better, I'm going to need your help. So again, at the bottom of every description for every episode, click the link that says support this podcast and pick your option. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Now we're going to get started with this episode. This week we talk with Jose Garcia, who is a business owner. He talks about how back in 2008, he was laid off from his job as a custom granite fabricator for many years, and he took it upon himself to not stay down. He got back up and he went to school. With his wife's help, Jazzy, they got him through an associate's, bachelor's, and now a master's in marketing. He, along with his wife, Jazzy, now own a business called TooSincere.com, where they make candles. And he also, he is what he likes to call, he calls himself a creative. And pretty much he makes a lot of art, a lot of music, a lot of beats. He's into so much purely just for the passion and the culture. We talk about that a lot. He's got a website that he dedicates to his brainstorming ideas called oddcurious.com. And I'd like to, at the end of this episode, talk a little bit more about that. He refers to himself as Mr. Infinito. I'm just excited to to share this story with you because everything I just told you, him and his wife Jazzy did while raising children at a very young age. He became a father at the age of 17. And they are now, young adults into adulthood. And, with being laid off, he's taking lemons and making lemonade. The exact type of story that I feel the Journeyman Chronicles should highlight. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get started. Here we are, episode 7 with Jose Garcia, a.k.a. Mr. Infinito.
Don't mind me. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good.
All right, word. I can hear you too. So I know you're doing Boiler Room Productions, but that I've been listening to your beats, and I went back on Spotify today because I follow you on Spotify there, and I was listening to the beats again. The beats are dope. I love the sound. When did you start producing? Because when I met you, you was just rhyming, or were you producing beats then too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beats that's my first love.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I started making beats back my senior year in McCaskey. I took an independent music class and taught myself how to use their MIDI lab.
Oh, word.
So I got to go in there, solo for an hour and a half or something every day.
You just taught yourself?
Yeah, because I knew they had it there available, so I went and asked. I asked my guidance counselor. I went and asked the music teacher there, and they let me do it. So I just got to. And this is. I didn't really have a whole lot of real music background other than I just love, hip hop music. So I always wanted to be a DJ. Never had the dough for DJ equipment, as a teenager. So
yeah, I
got to dive in at McCaskey and try out their MIDI lab. And then after McCaskey, it took a couple years, but I bought my computers and shit and built up my equipment and started making beats from home too. And I think the original, there's a picture of the Boiler Room hanging over here. I think the date is on like 2004. It's the first, the first official home studio I had at home.
Oh,
the first
for real?
Boiler Room.
2004.
Yeah.
So you think being a producer or that being your first love, that makes it easy for you to kind of to enjoy all types of hip hop music, or are you savvy with all kinds of music, or is it just hip hop? Like I would think somebody like that makes beats can listen to all kinds of music and find something that they like it.
Yeah. No, I listen to all types of shit. Growing up, we listened to salsa music in the house all the time. So I grew up listening to Fania and all that. My dad had a huge music collection, so I grew up listening to that stuff. At the time, I didn't appreciate it. I got a little older and I realized that a lot of their messages were similar to the music I was listening to, and I started to appreciate Hector Lavoe and Willie Colon more. And, because and Ruben Blades, their music was real similar to what I was listening to, because I was always attracted more to that lyrical stuff. They were telling stories and really saying something. And those salsa guys were really doing a lot of that same shit. So, I grew up on that. A lot of soul shit, even disco a little bit. My dad had a big music collection, so we listened to all types of shit at home. But me, I just gravitated to hip hop when I was young.
So you grew up listening to your dad's big music collection. I'm guessing it's vinyl, 8-track.
Vinyl, cassette tapes. He had a lot of both.
I remember my dad, my mom too, but a lot of vinyl. I remember an 8-track player. I was surrounded by music my whole life. My wife and I, that's a bond that we share. And I always like when I talk to people that love music, I always seem that we seem to just kick it off right away. And I don't know what it is. I feel like it's when I listen to music, even if it's just a beat, and I think that's why I always appreciate producers and DJs and beat makers, so to speak, is because I can listen to a beat and hear the story without even hearing words. Do you, when you're making beats, are you just going in what you're feeling at the moment, or do you always have a an idea of where you want to go with your beats, as far as like telling a story, or are you just throwing down drums and letting it go?
Nah, for the most part, like it just happens. Like I might chop up a sample or play something on the keys, and it's just experimenting and seeing what fits and fitting the pieces together. It's rare. It's super hard for me anyway to I'll have beats in my head and try to conceptualize them on the keys, and sometimes
Sure.
they just don't come out the same way you hear them.
Sure.
So for me, it's just kind of messing with the pads or my keys and figuring things out, and then putting it all together.
So are you born and raised in Lanc, or where are you from?
Well, I've been here most of my life. I came here when I was young. I was from Jersey, but I've been in Lancaster since elementary school. So.
Okay. So you're from Jersey. Where about?
Union City.
Okay, Union City, my brother.
It's up by Hoboken, Jersey City, North Jersey.
So talk to me about you moved down to Lancaster in elementary. Have you always been inspired to do music, or was there anything else you wanted to do with your life when you were young?
Yeah, I was like 10. I got it was a Tribe Called Quest, a Low End Theory. And from that was just like I don't know, it was just something else. I don't know. Just I fell in love with that music at that time, and it introduced me to this whole world. And then it went into Gangstar, and then Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep, and I mean the 90s were dope as fuck for boom bap hip hop New York underground, that sound. So it was dope to come up during that time, and there's so much dope shit, Nas and just legendary shit now. So that's kind of what influenced me and made me love the music, that sound. But at first it was Tribe Called Quest and Gangstar that really kind of pulled me in.
Yeah, Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory. Tribe always had that like jazz infused hip hop. That shit, I always loved it. That Pete Rock did the same thing. Mass Appeal, that song, I love Mass Appeal by Gangstar. That's one of my favorite Gangstar songs. When I started this podcast, you hit me up and you gave me mad love for the podcast, and I appreciated that, because this is all new to me. I mean, talking in the mic ain't new to me, but I was used to doing it, in a studio and my boy recording me. Now it's kind of like I'm doing something that I love doing. It's just on a different type of format. But you hit me up and you had expressed that you have a journey. Take me through your ups and downs these past 10, 15 years.
Shit has been kind of was up and down early. You know what I mean? I was me and my wife, we were married young. We were young parents, so we were raising kids in our 20s when everybody else was having a good time and bugging out. Still no regrets at all. You know what I mean? I love my wife to death. She's right to die, and you know what I mean. She's everything. But yeah, it was tough. It was good for a while, and around 2008, I got laid off personally. At that time I was a granite fabricator. I was installing granite countertops. They had laid me off, and then during that layoff, that's when the economy kind of collapsed in 2008. It happened everywhere, so I wasn't alone in that thing at that time. A lot of people went through that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was laid off, and in the middle of that, the company I worked for was sold, so I was kind of SOL. Had to figure out something new, but at the same time, it was a gift and a curse. It forced me to rethink my life. I didn't have any desire more than to do what I was already doing. I was good at what I did and paid the bills. You know what I mean? I busted my ass every day, and I was, breaking my back, but it paid the bills, and I was happy. I was supporting my family and have any problem with it. But when you get laid off, it's like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What can I change?
Yeah.
So it hit a bottom. I hit a bottom. I was able to sit back and think, and I decided, fuck it, I'm going to go back to school. I had never any desire to go to college or anything like that. So I said, fuck it. I went to Hack, started going to classes. I got my associate's degree, and I loved it. Partway through the Hack program, I got my associates in marketing. I said, I'm going to transfer. I'm going to keep on going. I transferred to Elizabethtown College. I finished up my bachelor's degree. Had some dope ass professors that kind of really influenced me and pushed me. And even I was old, but you know what I mean. I really wanted to change. So I mean, I took on internships. Yeah. I was a 28-year-old intern with the Barnstormers, not getting paid shit, working with 18, 19, 19, 20-year-olds. It was cool. It was a cool ass experience. But I'm like, I was 28 years old. I was way older than everybody else. I interned at Annie Ann's. I did a bunch of shit just trying to make this marketing thing happen. And after Elizabethtown College, I still wanted more. So I eventually got my master's degree in integrated marketing communications. So I went 7 years straight. During that process, I was in the middle of a career change. So I went from, a granite countertop installer of 10 years to today, marketing manager for a company. And I'm a business owner with my wife. We have our own home business. So we're trying to make things happen. Trying not to stay stagnant. This last year with COVID gave us a lot of time, we sped up a lot of our things for our own home business stuff. And we're just trying to make it work.
I think a lot of people can relate to everything you just said, especially, with 2008, 13 years ago, but I don't know how you feel. To me, I'm like 2008 was just 4 years ago in my mind, but it really was. It was 13 years ago. A lot of people felt that hit. But you said something that stuck out to me, and I've said this myself. My wife always would tell me this, to not stay stagnant. And I never understood. I understood what that meant before, but I really understand it now, because you got to keep moving. And, they always say that the duck looks calm above water, but below water, his legs are just kicking nonstop. Let me dive into a couple things that you brought up, because I wanna just ask a couple quick questions. One, what was it about marketing that interested you?
Just I loved how it was always going to be evolving. I loved being a student. I learned that I love being a student. And marketing is a field that's constantly going to be evolving and changing and growing. So I'm always going to be a student to the discipline, to marketing, to the, in general. So I'm always going to be learning, because the trends change and things are going to evolve. So I looked at it as a challenge. I at the time I loved my old job, but it was real repetitive. You do the same thing over and over every day. And it's all good at the time, but now thinking back, it's like I enjoy not busting my ass as much and thinking more, and thinking my way through shit rather than the physical labor part of it.
And I want to get back to that physical labor part, but I want to dig into these questions real quick. You interned at Annie Ann's and you interned at the Barnstormers. What was the detailing in regards to internship there? What were you doing?
Well, for the Barnstormer, it was all the promotional stuff.
Okay.
So a lot of the theme nights, we'd be out there handing out flyers. Sometimes I did a little bit of mascotting.
Okay.
I was there. I was they brought in like a special Nickelodeon mascot. I was the one of the special feature mascots for the night. It was the hottest night of my life.
Oh yeah.
And Annie Ann's was a little more formal.
Okay, I would think, right? Yeah.
So at Annie Ann's, I did more writing, blog writing, things like that, social media stuff.
The business now. Okay, so you said you brought up you have a business with your wife. Did this start after your transition into school?
Yeah. I think 2013, I believe, is when we started it. But we have a soy candle business called toosincere.com.
Okay. toosincere.com. Yeah, let's make sure we get that out there. toosincere.com.
And at Too Sincere Shop on Instagram.
Okay. Yo, go ahead, plug away, brother. This is your time.
But basically, I'm like the back end. I built our website. I make sure the back end works. My wife is the face of the company. She makes the candles.
Okay.
She's the the backbone of it all, and I'm kind of supporting her and helping her build this.
Gotcha. Is this like something that she's always done, or did she pick this up also during this stretch of you going to school?
Yeah, she picked it up a few years before that, and yeah, she was making them for a little bit, and then as I progressed in my learning, things like that, I said we can give this a shot. I learned how to build websites at the time, and I took a shot at building an e-commerce site for the first time back in 2013, and made it happen. And now I think last year we rebranded and relaunched our website, and it's been fun to see the evolution that we've gone through. You don't think of it at the time, but when you get there, then it's like, wow, you think back.
Yeah,
we've evolved and we've grown a lot. So it's exciting. It's fun to be a part of, and just learning to figure this shit out.
I know firsthand what it is to break your back working, not literally, but obviously figuratively, to bust your ass. Labor work is very exhausting, and I feel like as men, or women for that matter, those that there are women that are working in those fields also, but you get so used to it, it's almost like, well, this is you had just alluded to this earlier. It was, you were good at it. It paid the bills. It is what it is. And then you take a step back in a moment like this, and you go, damn, if I would have kept working a job like that, I probably wouldn't have been able to stand up straight in 20 years. Yeah. I work with guys right now that have a hard time maneuvering or standing. It's I'm feeling it, and I'm 42 years old, and I sit on a tow motor for 10 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day. I don't want to do that much longer. So I completely get where your mindset was back in 2008, and it's almost like, just like you said, getting laid off was a blessing in disguise, as they say, because you could have very well not have been laid off, and you probably would be still doing what you were doing, just in a lot more pain. So when you look at yourself now, do you find that you have not a lot more time? Because I know you're not staying stagnant, so you're busy. But you're a lot more happier with the busy? Are you able to focus now? Is that where your boiler room has picked up, because you've been able to kind of focus on that more?
I mean, a little bit of that, but I think a little bit is, the kids are getting older. My oldest is 22.
Okay.
My middle son is at 19, and my daughter is 16. So all of a sudden we have a little more time, kind of, with the kids getting older, and so it's interesting. We're adapting to having more time and trying to make it productive.
Do you have any interesting stories of trying to record music while your kids are trying to sneak into the room? Because I have stories like that.
No. Well, back in the day, they used to sneak in all the time. I did back when I was rapping, and I have them actually on the track, because they used to sneak in all the time. So occasionally I'd have them just record stuff, so that they kind of get it out of their system.
Yeah.
So I actually have them on a track that I recorded, and it's on Spotify. But it's funny to look back at it now and hear their little voices, and now that they're grown men and young woman now. So but they used to try to sneak in all the time, or I'd have to keep the door locked, or get up and yell to shut up. I'm trying to record.
Yeah. Talk to me about your kids. You've got you just said you got kids that are going into adulthood for the most part. You've got your youngest is in high school, or getting ready to go in high school?
No, high school, 11th grade. So,
okay. Yeah. So talk to me about you're 20 years old when you had children. Your first child when you're 20?
17.
17. Oh, you said you were married at 20. Forgive me.
We celebrate 20 years this year of marriage.
God bless you guys. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been fun. She's a real one. She's dope, man. I love my wife more than anything in the world. But no, it's back to the question, the kids. It's been interesting. It's just a different time in life. They're growing up. They're independent. Don't care a whole lot to be around mom and dad right now. Not that they don't love us, but they're independent and kind of figuring out who they are right now. So it's.
Was it difficult? My first was born when I was 23. So that's a 6-year difference. And I've always said, even at 23, I look back and I'm like, I was a kid. So I can only imagine being 17 and being a father for the first time. If you wouldn't mind just sharing how being a father at that age sculpted you to be the man that you are now, because I would think that it had to do a lot with it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I don't know. I think at the time, like me and my wife just knew we were both committed to raising our son, to making, to building him up. And and I don't know. We just knew it's crazy that we were married a couple years later, and yeah, it's been 20 years now. So, but yeah, it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? When you're 17, 18, 19 years old, raising a kid, but I don't know. We rose to the occasion. Like we knew we needed to make sacrifices, and we just never like we knew it was never about us. We can never be selfish. Like it was about our family and making the sacrifices we needed to grow our family. So I don't know. It's just if something just clicked and we just made it work, man. Like because we had to.
I know there's a lot, I mean, I know even when we were, and I say we, I'm assuming you and I are around the same age, but I remember being in middle school and high school, seeing friends, get pregnant or hear that their girlfriend was pregnant, raising children at a young age. There's a lot of people that would, I think, benefit from hearing somebody like yourself. Your words were, it just clicked. And I feel like, sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of male youth don't step up to the plate. And it sounds like you did, and you and your girl were on board, which is pretty cool because, you always hear these horror stories where it doesn't work out that way. And you obviously had a fortunate situation and you made it work. Is that?
And I don't recommend that to anybody.
Don't go learning this way. No, not yet. But I'm just saying, like, it's cool to hear that because you don't always hear that. And when this gets put out there, I'm hoping that people hear that because you could have very well not stepped up. Your girl could have very well not stepped up. But not only did you jump in and say, we're going to raise this young man, but y'all got married and now you're 20 years into your relationship and you guys have a business together. So obviously this isn't a relationship where you guys are just comfortable with each other, but no one's talking to one another. One of those marriages where one guy's
we're partners.
Yeah, you guys are partners. How would you describe your love for your wife? Is this something that it builds over time, or were you like from the very first time you met her, you were like, that's her, I can't think of anybody else but her?
I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. We just knew. I can't even explain when. To be honest, like I don't know. We clicked. First man, we got together. We kind of just hit it off, and I can count on one hand the days we've been apart since we met. Like
that's really cool. So you guys are definitely ride or dies.
Yeah, for sure. And not like in any negative way. I mean, we have our bickering and shit, but we never have any big blow ups, anything like that. We know each other. We know each other well, and we know when to back off, when to fight for shit, when not to, and
what battles to fight for, and when to.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got kids that are growing up and moving out. You've got a business that you are that you started with your wife, that she is the heart and soul of it, and you are the engine behind it, so to speak, if I may say so. Talk to me about, is Boiler Room Productions something that you do as a hobby, or is this something that you're really starting to put some force behind?
I don't want to label, like, I just want to make shit, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like right now, I'm at a place, like I've had a lot of time with COVID and everything, that got to dive in deeper into the beats. And I've been going back into, I have since 2004, 15 years of beats stored in the thing. So I've been trying to find some old ones. I'm reworking them, and not completed beats. Most of them are sketches.
Yeah,
let's call it. But you know what I mean? But so I've been going back through a lot of old shit, cleaning some of that shit up, making new stuff. Just trying to stay motivated and trying to get a lot of that stuff out of the vault and out into the public. Because it's not doing me anything sin. I have a problem on hoarding beats. Because I'd rather be making beats than be promoting and doing the marketing side, which is strange because I got into the marketing originally thinking I'm going to use this to sell my music. But you know, it's just when it comes to that music part, I'd rather be creating than doing that business side of it.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about because I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, and I'm just speculating here, so if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. But it seems to me like you're a little bit more protective of this part of what you do, because when you said I don't want to label it, that's how I feel about when I was making my music. Everybody would tell me, well, what are you going to do with it? You should do this and you should do that. And I'm like, I really just want to just fucking make music. I don't want to get into the politics and the ins and outs of it. But when it comes to this podcast, it was completely different. My mindset was, and I already knew there's a huge difference here. And that difference was I was really protective over my love for rhyming, and I just didn't want to taint it with any type of success. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but it was like I just don't want to even jinx it or talk about it because I was so in myself I was like, I just don't know. I don't want to label it. I don't want to say what I want to do with it. But this right here, I'm like, I feel like I can knock this out the ballpark. And I was like, what is it? So is that how it is with you, or no? Am I off?
No, for sure. It is like that. I think a little bit is that, as a creative, or you're your own worst critic.
Yeah.
In a lot of points, and maybe I'm not speaking for you, but I'm speaking for me. I'm my own worst critic. I'll make shit in the heat of the moment, like this shit bangs. This shit is dope as hell.
Yeah.
Anxious to put it out, and then if I leave it alone, if I sit on it and come back to it a week later, I'm not feeling it anymore.
Yeah.
or I feel like I've grown past it, and then it sits there, and then I just it's just like I just keep moving forward. I'm on to the next project, and a lot of that old stuff doesn't see the light of day. I mean, I got recorded songs from 10 years ago that I've never seen the public. And I don't even rap anymore or anything like that. But and then there's just hundreds of beats that kind of are abandoned and kind of sitting there.
That sounds like the story of like all producers and beat makers. It's like they just have a plethora of shit and hard drives full of beats. And I know a lot of boys that are just like, yo, I used to go over and I want to record music, but let's listen to all these beats for the next 30 minutes. Oh, look at this beat that I found. Do you ever find a beat from like years ago and you're like, yo, actually, this is pretty dope. What was I thinking? I should have fucked around with this one a little bit more.
No, I do. I do. So, I'll go digging sometimes, and there'll be some of those that'll surprise me. But I think oftentimes it'll be shit that I don't like, that other people will be like, yo, that shit is dope, or something that I slept on from a long time ago, and somebody happened to be hanging out that day, and they'll hear a beat and be like, yo, why didn't you ever do anything with that?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I thought it was trash.
Are you ever working with rappers and MCs at all with your beats, or you're just keeping it close to the chest?
No, not anymore. Like when we met, I was, a little bit just trying to get out there more. When we first met back, I had to be 2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think when I was going back to school, that was another time that I just found myself wanted to pursue more things. So I that's when I started to pursue the rapping a little more hard, and I ended up doing shows at the Chameleon, meeting you and shit like that there.
Yeah.
So I tried to get into the scene a little bit in Lancaster, and I did some stuff with some local cats and shit, and it was fun. But yeah, at the time, I kind of, once I started getting into my master's program, I kind of
phased out,
let that slide a little bit. And,
yeah.
Now I'm just starting to kind of, I never stopped, but now I'm starting to kind of get back into it more on the production side, making, I'm more motivated and I'm feeling more, creative lately to kind of really give that a go and do more shit.
What is in store for you? What plans do you have for the future coming up? Anything that you want to talk about?
Well, it's terms of our business, this is kind of our busy season now, so we want to get through, the fall and Christmas season, get through that shit. But creatively, I'm just hoping to bang out, more music, polish up a lot more of the shit that I have, stored on the hard drives, and start putting it out there on Spotify and everywhere else. Do more writing, a whole lot of shit. I started a website a while back. It's kind of evolved over time, but I keep a creative blog of creative projects I want to do. So sometimes I'll post up writings, photos, and music. So yeah.
This is on a website?
Trying to stay creative.
This is on go ahead, I'm sorry. Oddcurious.com. That's my kind of personal creative blog space. It's kind of just my brain on a website. And you're sharing it for the world to see.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna change. It's gonna evolve. There's gonna be shit that comes on and off of there. All of the weird shit I might think of, or create. I want to kind of share it there.
Explain to me why you feel the need to post that on your website. What is that? I mean, obviously you want people to see it. Is that more like a brainstorming maybe type of thing, or you're just sharing what you're up to in your own way?
I mean, it's kind of both. It's me brainstorming, putting ideas, seeing what they look like out on the screen, and part of it is just me wanting to share, what I'm making and creating with the world. And mostly, I can do that all on social media, but the website is mine. So
fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. You're making websites. Is that what I mean? So like you're doing a lot. So, you're doing a lot.
Yeah. I just want to try to learn, man. It's just, I just want to be dope at whatever I do, man. Just so if I'm working in marketing and we need to build, a landing page or a side website, something like that, I want to learn to be great at it. So I picked up web design skills. Now I don't use that every day at my job, but it comes in useful because it's a skill that's directly related to what I do. And I do work frequently in my website at work, and then at home on our business. That is mine. I've built that from the bottom up. So I think just being a small business owner, you kind of got to dive in and help is expensive. So try to wear as many hats as you can, where it makes sense anyway. Where quality doesn't drop. If I can take up a job and save some money, I'm going to try to figure it out. If I can watch a YouTube video or some tutorials and figure it out, I'm going to give it a shot.
You say you have a full-time job doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
Where's that at? Do you mind if I ask?
Sure. Yeah. I work in Lidditz and Bomberger store. We have a hardware store, flooring cabinets, all that stuff. So I'm still kind of in that world of granite, but I'm not.
You're not doing the hard work. Dude, I'm like sitting here and I'm like, fuck, you from 2008, you just leveled up like 3 different times. You got your own business with your wife, you do websites. Now you've got some extra, you got your associates, then you got your bachelor's and your master's, or you're going to school for your master's? I'm sorry.
No, I wrapped that all up.
So you got it all up. I mean, that's a pretty big level up. Congratulations. That's a lot of hard work, and you did that but that was between
raising kids.
Yeah.
My wife really held me down, man. I tell you, like she's solid, man. So when I was down, she picked me up, and vice versa. So yeah, she held me down for a while when I got laid off and we were trying to figure things out. So yeah, it's been good, man. It's been a good transition. It wasn't always easy, but yeah, you kind of learn on the fly, and at the time you don't even think about those things. I mean, like just working, you know what I mean? Just working and trying to make things happen, coming from nothing, from losing your job and kind of starting all over. So it's just about making progress, and not even at the time, you're not even thinking about it. It's just working and trying to move forward.
Yeah. I was laid off from a job that funny is I was laid off in 2009. and then the company went out of business as I was laid off. And I was going to school to get my journeyman's license in electric, and they were paying for it. And then they went out of business, so then I had nobody to help pay my last year. Wow. And I couldn't go back to school unless I got with another company that was in that program, and nobody was hiring for whatever reason. So I just said, fuck it, I'll stay home and watch my son and save money on daycare, because daycare was brutally hurting me. And so I know what that's like, man. And like you said, it's like, what did I do? But why are you getting rid of me? But it is what it is. When it comes to business, there's nothing personal. But you take it personally because that's your livelihood.
Yeah, for sure.
But you leveled up, man. It's good to catch up with you again, dog, because it's been a minute. You're right. I think it was like 2011. I met you at the Chameleon. That's where we met. It was like us and like 5 other people that were in the audience.
Yes, I remember that. Barely, but I remember that.
Yeah, it was. I tell everybody, I'm like, I performed at the Chameleon, but I just don't tell anybody that. Not a lot of people were in that fucking room. That was the most empty ever.
That was my 30th birthday. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I was double fisting Long Island's all night.
Yo, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah. I remember you. You remember you mentioning something along those lines. Like, I'm hammered right now. Like, you were fucked up. I'm surprised you even were able to remember your lyrics, because when I drink, I couldn't remember my fucking lyrics at all.
No, I didn't start drinking until I got off the stage that night.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I have this weird, crazy story real quick. I'm performing. Where the fuck was it? It was in New Holland. New Holland. I forget the fucking name of this place. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is I show up there and I start drinking, which I never drank before I ever performed. I just wouldn't do it. But for some reason, I was like, let me get comfortable. I had like 3 or 4 Bacardi and Cokes, and my brain got real loose, and I was starting to forget my lyrics. Like, before I went up on stage, I was like spitting it to myself. I'm like, oh shit, I can't remember these fucking words. So I ran into the bathroom, and I played back. I grabbed my phone. I'm playing the shit back to my, you know what I mean? Like, trying to remember this shit. And I went up on stage. I had 2 songs. I went up on stage. I sort of forgot the words the first song, but I was able to play it off and keep it going. The second time, I flat out, I'm talking like Eminem 8 Mile, fucking standing there frozen. And my man that was up there was like, just keep, he said, start over, just start over. So I wait for the beat to come back around. I start over, I've dropped cold at the same exact spot, and I gave the mic to my boy, and I just walked off stage. Yo, that was the most embarrassing. I don't miss rhyming in front of people. Like, I've never been one like that. I always liked rhyming, like making music, but performing, I was like, man, this ain't. That goes right back to like, I just didn't really want to label it. I just like making the music, but I don't want to have to perform in front of anybody.
Man, I used to love performing, man.
For real?
That's the one part I missed. I used to love that, man. I don't know, like, the first time I performed was opening for Redman and Method Man. Like, the first time on stage, at the Chameleon, and it wasn't my set. This dude from York named Finite, I had met him at a show in the Lizard Lounge, like a month before or something like that. And I liked his music, and I started talking to him online a little bit. And I don't remember what the discussion was, but he offered me a chance to do a song opening for Red and Meth that night, or on his stage time. So it was dope. I got to do that, and I killed it, and it was just insane.
Dog, I need you to keep doing what you're doing, because I appreciate seeing people progress and succeed. And you, sir, are progressing and succeeding, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate that,
see,
man.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you keep putting shit out, because I mean, I know the beats are just your thing to enjoy yourself, but they're dope beats, and I'm not. It makes me like feel like I could write some shit again, and I haven't dropped anything since 2015, but
just just trying to stay creative. So yeah, hopefully, you know, I can stay in that zone and keep making shit, man.
How do you, real quick, how did you, you know, trying to stay stagnant during the pandemic was tough for everybody. Because you're trying to keep it moving, but you really can't. I mean, I guess it really depends, because you were able to do so much online, and that, you know.
Yeah.
Was that beneficial to you?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I got to spend more time, you know, in the house. I'm bored. I'm gonna go make music.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go focus on you know, building our business. I think we were planning to kind of relaunch our business in this year, 2021, but we were, you know, with COVID, we were able to kind of move that back a year. Kind of, we had time to focus and kind of just put our heads down and you know, get what we wanted done. Where otherwise, without COVID, you know, that's horrible to say. I wish COVID wasn't here, but without COVID, we wouldn't have had that time to kind of focus, you know, and really just be still for a minute and just, you know, really think things through and, you know, game plan and figure things out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, including myself, know exactly what you're talking about. It's almost like you don't want to be thankful for something as devastating as the pandemic has been, but at the same time, you're grateful because it allowed you to be still, to take a look around. There's a lot of people that said, "Fuck this job." And I was almost one of those people, but I just couldn't quite justify it, but I was close. I'm at that point in my life where I'm making plans now so that I can be in a position where I can say, I'm out. I'm doing something that I want to do on my terms. And I want to be happy. I believe in, you know, quality of life, and I believe in spending time with my family. You know what I mean? I feel like, and I think you can agree, you know, when you're at a place that is taking that from you, you start to get put in a place where it's like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? And I don't know how your upbringing was, but I grew up in a family where, you know, it was the blue collar way of life, and that was to be expected. You just shut the fuck up and go to fucking work, and you grind out for your family, which is admirable. Congratulations, man. Like I said, I'm happy to see people succeeding, especially like, you know, like when I see, you know, minorities succeeding, the Latinos succeeding. Fuck yeah, man. Props to you and yours, and I want to plug your business with your wife. I'm going to put it in the description for this podcast. How does she make these candles? Like, is that something like you help her with, or does she do that all on her own, or what?
I used to help her with it, but she got so fast with it now. She doesn't need me anymore. Now I'm in the way, so I don't even help her making that stuff no more.
What does she do? Like, how does this whole process of candle? Do you know? Do you just walk away and she just?
Yeah, basically I just walk away. But yeah, she mixes her own, you know, the wax and the fragrance, and you know, she jars everything. She adds the wick to each jar individually and hand pours every single candle that gets shipped out of here. And she picks, she's super selective of what fragrances, you know, go out with, you know, our name on it. So she picks every fragrance, you know, she makes sure it's gonna hit.
All right, brother. Well, listen, I wanna once and for all give you your flowers. Let your wife know that I think what you guys are doing is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that when people hear this interview, that, you know, my goal especially is to try to get as many youth as I can to listen to it. And so to hear a story like yours, I feel is inspiring, because you guys were young and here you are.
Shit just takes time, man. Patience.
Yeah. Patience and
work and hard work,
patience, dedication. Listen, congratulations.
No doubt, man. And yo, keep doing this thing. This is dope. I've listened to every episode so far, so I think you're killing it, man. And I'm a fan of this podcast. So congrats on this shit, and I wish you lots of luck and you know.
Thank you.
Continue with this podcast, man. So it's been dope so far. So just keep it up, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Like I said, I'm trying to do something on my own, and this feels good. It feels right at home. I'm just going with the energy. I'm just feeling it, and I'm just going with it, brother. All right. Hey, I appreciate you, man. God bless. Take it easy. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'll check you out, man.
All right, brother. Peace.
Jose's got a great head on his shoulders. The relationship he has with his wife, you can just tell by listening to him that it's loving, it's solid. They're a team. Once again, I know I've said it several times throughout this episode to Jose, but if he's listening right now, which I hope he is, brother, I'm proud of you and your wife, Jazzy. Congratulations on your continued success. Now, like I said, I want to talk about this website called oddcurious.com. He had mentioned it to me, and after the interview, I go and I check it out. There's a lot going on this website. He has a section dedicated to music, a section called Writing on the Wall, which to me it seems like it's like an open letter to big tech, and he just talks about his ideas in this open letter. He also has a section dedicated to the odd list. So this odd list will likely evolve and grow over time, and I may not accomplish everything, but a man can dream. And he lists the things he wants to accomplish. Why not? And they're thoroughly written out. It's not just a list. It's a list, and it's thoroughly written out. Make the Guinness Book of World Records. Take my wife skydiving. Attend New York Knicks ticker tape parade. Jose, I hope you don't mind, but I'm blown away, by this website, because there's a lot going on in here, and I'm glad that you brought it up. I wanted it to be shared to the listeners, and so here it is. Please take a look at this website and support my friend. Go listen to his music, The Boiler Room Stranger, on Spotify. If you're a rapper, if you're an MC, you want to listen to some beats, this guy's got the juice. Thank you, Jose, for joining me on the Journeyman Chronicles. And I thank you, the listener. Not my strongest week here. I'm trying to hold it together, but I promise. Next week, yours truly will be in superb form. Until then, y'all know the routine. Maintain focus and stay continuous through all 4 seasons. My name is Felix Arroyo, the Journeyman, and these are the Journeyman Chronicles.